Happy Friday. My deepest apologies for last week. There was something came up with the accountant and then me and Anna, so we just had to cancel. I'm working on getting another accountant on because I think it would be super helpful for a lot of people that have questions. But here we are. Happy Friday. How have your 2 weeks been? You're moving?
Yeah, girl, I'm actually 2 weeks out from moving, so the chaos is on, the packing is on.
Is all the reseller stuff good? Like I saw some pictures on Instagram and it looks like you're making good progress, right?
Yeah, I'm really appreciating eBay more than ever at the moment because I've been having to deal with Facebook Marketplace a whole bunch, trying to get rid of some furniture, and it's literally the worst.
Like local people.
Just like
Yeah.
scam after scam. I had like 40 inquiries, literally 40, about this one chair that I'm selling, and it was all like every single one was like a scam attempt, and I was just like no, and like reported them. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just really annoying. I'm like, man, I love that. I
It's
love how like legitimate eBay is. It just I don't know. I don't really have time to do like the local pickup thing. I'm just trying to like move stuff fast, but
So,
some of
like, the
it's already
bigger
on
stuff you're
eBay.
trying to move like, the bigger stuff you're trying to move just because it's not worth selling.
Yeah.
The bigger
Some of
eBay.
it's just like my own furniture from my house that we decided last minute, like, actually, we're not going to take this with us. And then some of it is like my bigger, bulkier items that are like, I would rather just take a lower price and, have someone come pick it up locally instead of shipping it, big giant like vase and stuff like that.
Yeah, which
Um,
I saw that picture and I was like, "That looks terrifying if you were to ship it." Like, I
it's
would not.
really not that bad, I promise, but you have to like do it right. And then it's okay.
And I would not.
Do it
That's
right
one of the
and
reasons
have
I don't.
insurance on your package.
This is one reason I don't get outside of my realm either. I put it in a poly bag and I'm done. I was gonna say something. So you're 2 weeks out, reselling's all ready to go. I was gonna say something. Oh, real quick to those friends that are joining, if you see me just leave, my kids are home today. And I didn't want to cancel for 2 weeks in a row because we canceled last week. But then my spouse, he never has to go into the office, but he had to go into the office today, kind of last minute. And so if something happened, if I just vanish, that's what's happening. Or if we just cut it short, it's because something came up. So we'll see. Hello. Hi, Diane is here. Duncan, thanks. How have our sales been? So are you on vacation mode or are you
I'm
still
not.
selling? Yeah.
I'm just regular right now. I'm trying to minimize the number of times I am doing time away, but I did go ahead and change my handling time with my business policies to 3 business days. So I knew that when I kind of like turn my store off-ish with time away, it won't be totally off, but people won't be able to actually make purchases. But I knew that coming back from that, I wanted to have at least a 3 business days, and usually have it on like one business day.
Mhm.
So I'm going and pulling stuff from the storage unit every single day. But in the last week or so, I've just had so much to do that I'm like, I need to not have to go do that every single day. So I put it on 3 business days already, and that's good. Like sales are still good. It's maybe like slightly slower than it was when it was one business day, but it's not a huge deal. So,
Oh,
for
really?
my,
Even at 3 business days?
yeah, so for my own sanity, I'm just doing that. I actually when I very first worked with a growth advisor, I was like I'd had a thing happen. I probably talked about this before, but I had something happen where I took like a whole bunch of packages to the post office and they did not scan them in on time. And
Mm.
they still arrived at their destinations on time, but because they weren't scanned in within 24 hours, I had like a major ding, like 40 or 50 like dings on my shipment rate. And
Yes.
so I found out when it was too late that I could have called eBay because if everything still arrived on time, then they'll look at that and they'll adjust it, but you have to call about it. So I didn't know that. I thought I was just screwed. So anyway,
That's a great tip, friends.
yes, but you have to do it within like 30 days or something of when that happens, or they can't change it
Yeah.
like that far after the fact. And I didn't know it was an option at all. So anyway,
The same is true too. You probably know this, but the same is true. Like if there's a storm or something that's impacting you,
yeah.
um, you can contact them and be like, "Hey, the USPS is like closed, or there's a huge storm,"
Yeah.
and they'll understand. If you're just like, "My guy didn't come today," no. But if you can show that, like, "Hey, there was a hurricane," like,
Right, right, and it's like, even if they I don't know, like, even if they don't come, if you can get it there yourself within 24 hours, or even if it's not scanned in on time, but it still arrives on time, like, you can still, it'll still, they'll change it for you. But anyway,
Very understandable. Yes.
yeah, I didn't know that, and so it was like way later, but I basically didn't have my top rated seller status at the time when I started working with a growth advisor, and I was like, "Yeah, doesn't this suck?" And she was like, "Oh, well, you could have actually done something about that, but now you can't because it's too late."
Yeah,
But
which
she
is like
told me,
helpful in hindsight, but you're like, that doesn't help me back then.
I
Like, thank
know.
you.
But what she did tell me, because I like all of us, like I was trying to do everything in my control to like boost my sales, and so I had like 1 day business, 1 day business, 1 day. What am I trying to say?
One
Business day
handling.
handling time.
Yeah,
My brain cells are all absorbed right now with
that's
moving.
right. It's Friday.
Um, but she was like, go ahead and put it on 3 business days to give yourself a little bit more of a margin so that you don't like, if you accidentally mess something up in the next period, it won't like continue to shoot you in the
Like,
foot. And I was like, really? Like changing it? That I thought 3 business days was like almost borderline too much. And they certainly don't encourage you to have like longer handling time. But she was like, 3 is fine. I was
yeah,
like,
but I think, well, so this is an interesting thing because
yeah,
you then lose your top rated seller stat, right? Like once you go past
right,
business day. So like that's a null. So once you
right.
go past, but as far as buying, it's more about the buyer behavior and if they're
Yeah,
willing to wait 3 days. It's not, I
right.
don't think eBay necessarily, minus you losing your, like once you lose your top rated status, then like it is what it is. But
Yeah,
once you go past that, it's more if the buyer is willing to wait that time. But for a lot of your stuff that maybe they just can't get it anywhere else,
yeah.
or they're not like, I get things that are like, I need this just for Valentine's Day and it's in 2 days. And I'm like, well, not my problem,
You're
friend.
like, "Oh,
Like,
you heard about it 2 days ago." Sorry.
right. I
I'm
had
not a
someone
fairy godmother.
I had someone today who sent me an offer a couple days ago and they're like ship promptly. And I was doing shipping that day anyway, so I shipped in less than a day. It was under my handling day because it was before that I would have shipped anyway. And then they sent me a message today and I'm like, this is a customer that something's gonna happen with.
Oh,
They sent me a
always.
message
Can't
today
you
and
just
they're like,
spot them a
yeah,
mile away?
it's the 17th and my item hasn't arrived yet. Or my item is lost. And I was like, it says estimated day is the 17th. It doesn't say it's delivered.
Yeah,
And that was 2 days ago, friend. Like, it's not even the end of the day.
right.
Like, chill. And they're
Yeah.
like, I hope it's not lost. And I'm like, it's been 2 days.
Did you know that if you take the tracking number with USPS and you put it into USPS's website, it has more detailed information?
And this is a good thing too. So I'm not doing it for this one because it's 2 days and they're just
You're like, "Chill out."
but if you do all of that, so like if an item hasn't been tracking for like a week or two and you do that, it 9 times out of 10 will start tracking again.
Wow.
Which is like a little, I don't know why. I think
That's
maybe it like triggers USPS to
interesting.
be like, oh, where is this
Oh,
package? Like they've noticed.
yeah.
And so oftentimes when someone will ask me if it's late, I usually just do that. And then I'm like, well, it's tracking and now it's at this place. Just wait patiently, so that they
Right.
can see that something's happening. Um, someone told me that and it works like, although I had a international sale this week that was like, it's been a month. Where's my package? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't do it for that. I can't do my trick for an
You're
international.
like, "I don't know.
I know.
No
Ugh.
information." Yeah, I hate that. I had a really fun return this week that was like an $80 item that someone fully purchased, paid for. I shipped it several days later after they received it. They were like, "Oh, I didn't mean to buy this. I was just trying to watch it because it's like an item that I'm selling." And I was like, "Well,
Sweet.
you literally paid for it and had it shipped to you. Like, what the heck? Are you not paying attention at all? Like, it's like $100."
Yeah, and you're a seller too. Maybe they're a new seller, obviously.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
guess.
it made me mad. It made me mad. And so I was like, you know what? I would like not, I realized like I would care a lot less about this if it was like a $20 item. So I took all of my, which this is probably bad, but I really don't care. I'm like, too bad. This is just how I want to run my store now. But everything that was like over $100, or I think over $75, which is like the vast minority of my store. Like there's only a handful of things compared to the whole inventory that are that much. And so I just took free returns off of all of it. You can still return it, but you're gonna pay because
'Cause I'm
I
pissed.
think that's so lame that
Well, and some of your stuff that's like bigger too, right? Like for me,
yeah,
my average cost of shipping is like $5.
yeah.
So
This
while
was
it
like
sucks, like,
probably 15 or $20 to ship, and I'm just like, are you kidding me right now?
yeah,
Because you're
it's
just
an
like not
accident.
paying attention. So
Yeah.
I figured I don't want to do that again. That was dumb.
All right. My sales have actually been, so I did a video, I think last week. Poshmark, January for Poshmark was like utter trash. Like it was probably the worst month I've had since I've started.
That is
Uh,
wild. Why do you think it is?
I think it's the live shows. I think, well, so I think there's a couple of things. I think the live shows are impacting it. Not that people are buying from the live shows because no one's attending. Like I've gotten in and there's like 3 people
Yeah,
at the
but
shows.
it's like, oh, this is what we're doing now. I'm gonna go look somewhere else. Like,
Yes, exactly. There's so
yeah,
many notifications, it's annoying. And then I also think on the back end, they got bought out and they haven't said anything that's happening, but they're doing things, right?
yeah.
Like, and trying to figure things out. And it's come out in Canada that they are trying to get rid of bots.
Oh,
Um, so they're obviously doing things and they're going to try and figure out how it hasn't come out in Colorado, in the US yet. But there's things happening on the back end and we all know how that works, right? Like,
yeah,
and they could be changing like sharing strategies and they want less. I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
it's slowly gotten better. My eBay, I found a sweet spot and I'm going to share. I've done a couple of videos, but those watching this video, I'll share what my sweet spot is right now.
yes,
We've talked really in depth into this, so you probably know, but I am doing 50 sell similar every day, 5 days a week, like during the weekdays. On the weekends, I don't, I do bare
yeah,
minimum. And then I'm promoting at 17%, like capping at 17%.
yeah. That's about
But
where I am too. I think.
I'm doing significantly less sales. I'm running a sale, but the percentage is less. Like I used to go up to 40% on some
Yeah.
stuff that I had for a while, and now I'm doing 15%.
So that's
And
how
so
you're like
while it
regrouping.
yeah, right. So it seems like I'm doing a lot of promoted, but it's money going to eBay and not
Yes.
savings to the customer.
And not to nowhere.
Yeah,
Not
right.
vanishing into thin air. It's getting you something in return.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
But my net is actually slowly coming back too because I'm running less sales. And a lot of my older items that I was running like 50% off sales and would have taken like, just what I paid are
Yeah.
actually selling at like legit prices again.
Yeah. Which is so interesting, right? Like, I don't know if it's like the slow, like, recovery from Christmas shopping or whatever, but I feel like I'm getting some really good sales on stuff too where I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even have to take like a lot lower price for that.
Yeah,
But
you're like, I would have taken like $30
yeah,
less,
I
but
definitely would have. Yeah, especially right now, still in semi liquidation mode. But that's really good to know because my general thought about when I get established and everything set up and I'm not in semi liquidation mode anymore was kind of that same thing. Like, I'm going to do much more minimal sales and keep promoting fairly high, but still probably not quite as high as I am right now.
yeah.
And
Well,
just,
I went up to almost like 25%, just kind of messing on my late,
yeah,
just kind of messing with it to see what would happen.
yeah,
And my sales were great,
yeah.
but then my net was, and so I'm like, I don't want to come down to where I'm not selling a lot because I still want, I don't want to be a hoarder. I want my
Yeah.
items to sell, but I'm at oh, my light went off. Um,
Oh, no.
I kicked the plug. I am at like a comfortable place where I feel some of it's ego too. If I don't have like I want to have around 10 sales a day. And so if
Yeah.
I have to pay eBay, 5% for that,
Okay.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, Squirrel is here. I met her in person. We've chatted online. She's in local to Colorado. She thrifts, travels to thrift. We
Awesome.
went yesterday, the Arc thrift stores are a local chain. I think the Arc is like a nationwide chain, but then they have like a local chapter in Colorado with like, I don't know, 30 or 40 stores. But they give us like a tour of their warehouse. And it's like the ultimate reselling
Yeah.
business model. Like they get their stuff donated to them and they're a nonprofit. So they like give back to the community. They said they fed
Yeah.
like, I don't know, 40% of one of the biggest chains here, nonprofits that feed stuff. I mean, they do a lot of like giving back to the community, but it was kind of cool to see like their logistics behind it.
Yeah.
Because they like store everything there and then they ship, like stores will order from them what they want and they ship it out
Oh,
because
interesting.
they do seasonal, which sucks as a reseller. But they do seasonal, so then they like have it was really fascinating. Anyways, she was there. We met in person. Oh, we lost Anna. There you are. We met in person and she has a podcast that I'm going to be on. So make sure to check that out. I'll promote it on my social media, but
That's really cool. I love it. Also, I love the name A Real Squirrel. My mom is a wildlife rehabilitator, like for funsies, and squirrels are her absolute favorite. So
oh my God, my daughter would flip. She
Oh,
loves.
there's always like you just never know. When you go to my mom's, there's like there could be like a baby deer in the bathtub at the moment, or there could be like a
Is she
squirrel.
a vet or she just takes it like she just
No, she's a speech pathologist. But she loves animals and she's like certified. Like she's a wildlife rehabilitation specialist for the state. And so
Oh,
and it's a pretty rural area too. So she gets the call for like that, the county and the surrounding counties if any animal is like in peril. But it's hilarious.
that's crazy. We currently have 3 grasshoppers in my house because my
Oh,
children also
pet.
love animals. I mean, they're, like, encaged, and they, like, feed them with fruit and stuff, and my daughter does all kinds of research on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot. I tried an unsold item sitting 3 months sold, listed it on Stamps Auction Group, and it sold. Are eBay hiding your listings?
Hmm.
This is interesting, Duncan. What do you think? I mean, it could just be the people. I mean, my thought is if you put it on a Sam's auction group, those are your
That's
target.
a very target market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense why you're gonna sell it. I don't know that. And Duncan, you know what you're doing. So I don't think they're hiding Duncans. But if things aren't selling, then you may, in general, if you're not Duncan, look at why.
Yeah. Or find a really targeted other place to market it. Like that.
Unless it's Facebook Marketplace because it's awful, right?
Oh my gosh, it's the worst. I hope we get rid of everything and then I can just never deal with it again.
Do you think some of the scams, I don't know how Facebook Marketplace works because I don't really do it. Mine is like 5
Yeah.
years ago, like selling kids stuff, but
Yeah.
not like reselling related.
Yeah. I never use it for like my actual business really, but
When you first get on eBay, so I've done a couple of videos recently of like Poshmarkers are full, and a lot of people are like, I want to get on eBay. So I've been doing a couple of videos on like how to start on eBay, and like my target audience is a little bit more newbie. And a lot
yeah.
of people, I'm getting scams, and I'm like, it goes away after you get so many sales. Like they can target and they know that you're new.
Yeah.
I wonder if Facebook Marketplace, if there's any of that, or it's just always awful.
I don't know. I mean, I feel it seems like there is some rhyme or reason to it because like the day I've only had to post it for like a couple of days, but like the first day I posted things, I was getting so many of them and I was just like reporting them one after the other. And now I haven't really gotten one. Like a
Yeah.
couple days later, it seems like it kind of dropped off. So I don't know if that's because the listings aren't brand new anymore or because they know somehow that I'm like wise to it and I'm reporting everyone that comes at me. Like I don't know. But
Yeah, I wonder if it's a similar thing that like Facebook Marketplace isn't as sophisticated as eBay.
yeah.
They haven't been around as long, but I wonder if it's a way that spammers just know that it's like new.
Yeah. And maybe they're just targeting everything in a certain price range or whatever, but
Yeah, and they know it somehow. They know it's a new listing because like on Poshmark, yeah,
yeah.
you don't get this on eBay anymore because they figured it out. But
Clean that house. Yes.
Poshmark, when you do a new listing, probably 2 or 3 times a week, I have a new listing and you get this, hey, I want to buy this. Text me at phone number, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, but they know that it's a new listing. So I don't know how that they know. And then you report them half the time. By the time I go in there, Poshmark's already taken it down.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's part of the case. If anyone sells on Facebook Marketplace, not that you have to get on, but I would just be interested to
No, but like, yeah,
know.
some people do like I bought something from someone who's like, oh yeah, this is like what we do. We list all kinds of stuff on there all the time. And I'm like, I hate it. And there's like no commitment at all, which is also super annoying. So it'll be like, I'm gonna come get this. And it's like, great. Never hear from you again. Like, I just hate it.
I always sometimes I'll put stuff out, like things that we're getting rid of and for free that I'm like, I don't want to go drop this off. I'd rather someone have
Right.
our crib for free, whoever wants to pick it up.
Right.
So every once in a while I'll post something like that, but I always tell them, here's my phone number and text me when you're on your way. It's first come. And then like they just never text. And the next person who comes in line, I'm like, the first person who texts me, and for some reason a lot of people are like scared to text me. And I'm like, well, like
You're like, well then
I'm not giving you my address until I know you are on the way. And I have a phone number verifying that you're like, I mean, I guess I don't know that's an actual person, but so far it's helped.
But still, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, if you actually show up, then we know. We know you're real. But until then, I don't believe it.
Did you do packages today?
Yeah.
Did you or have you listed recently?
What on what?
Any item on eBay. Sorry.
In fact, I started on the 15th doing scheduled things because they're free, and I never tried before, and I love it. So I've been scheduled. I mean, the scheduled ones have been going live. I
And then you
think
don't
I scheduled a few through like the 19th or something. So I need to do some more, but I have some drafts sitting there. But I just wanted to like try it first to see if it like worked right.
I'm working on getting there, but I was asking if you have shits because I was on, I think Facebook probably. Someone I had heard that there's an eBay glitch and the face or the
Oh,
flat rate padded mailer is like not an option on under shipping.
ooh. Well,
But I
I
don't
have
know if it's a glitch or if they're just like, because there's been talk at USPS that they're gonna like get rid of it. I know, I know.
as you can see, I have 3 cubes full of them right back there.
I ordered
I
them in
have
hundreds.
I've shipped a bunch of things today, but none of them have required one of those yet. So,
I was able to ship one in a padded flat rate, so I think it's on the listing side that like when you select it, it's like
oh,
I don't know if anybody knows. I
yeah,
just heard it through the grapevine. It could get fixed. We are in winter seller update territory. Things happen in the background, and typically like wait a day or two before you freak out because oftentimes they just fix themselves, right? Um,
yeah,
Back to
it's true.
scheduled listing though, because I wanted to talk about that. So those who don't know, winter seller update. I did a video on it, but if you haven't watched it or you don't know what's going on, eBay does seller updates a couple times a year. They did their winter seller update. They made scheduled listings free now. So Anna's working on, or we had all of her listings scheduled out. I am working on an additional VA, so I have two.
Hey,
And I got a third one just as a backup because I'm like, if something happens and they're like sick or like maybe they want to take a vacation, I just need someone who knows like the processes that they could jump in. And so
yeah,
I'm thinking that I'll have them do a couple extra hours a week and get me because you have to be far enough ahead to be able to schedule them far enough ahead.
right.
So I think they'll probably help get me right now. I'm only like a day or two ahead, and then it's like that doesn't really seem. I'll just do it every day if I'm only
Yeah,
going to get
right.
2 days
It's like,
out of it.
how does that help? Yeah.
Do you know how far out you can do it or how many? Have you seen any?
I haven't noticed actually. I think it's a ways though. I'm trying to remember because you like there's like a drop down calendar and you can choose the date. And I feel like it was like a couple months that you could choose from.
And how many like how many because you can only have so many drafts in your
Yes,
year.
but I
Oh,
think
that
that but the bank of scheduled listings is a different bank than the drafts.
and you can have like a gazillion in there.
I think I heard in the past before I ever used scheduled listings like years ago that it was unlimited on scheduled, but I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if it would still be true. But
Yes.
it seemed like people who used it all the time were like, "Oh yeah, it's like there's no limit that I've run into yet." So,
Which makes sense because before schedule listings were free, they were telling you like if you had too many drafts to schedule it out so that you
yes,
don't lose it.
right.
That's interesting. I wonder how if they'll do anything about that because it's server space that's taking up.
I know, and it's like but also, like, what are the limits of, like of us I mean, of most stores. I mean, even my store is big, but I'm not listing, like, 1,000 things a month, like,
Right.
usually.
Right.
I've done
Um,
that once or twice, but
a
with
1,000 in a month?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, Anna.
There were a couple months where me and my sister-in-law were both doing, like, full blast photos and drafts, like, both of us the whole month. And we crossed 1,000, I think, that month, but
I think the most I've done is probably like 350 or 400.
it's a lot.
It
Now
is.
it's so much less. I mean, if I do, like, 100 things a month, it's, like, a lot right now, so
I've been doing 10 a day for a decent I go before like between like 10 and 12 a day. Um, I feel more comfortable at 10. 12 makes things better. But I mean, 2 extra a day is, it's at a time. So,
yeah.
Tim Doyle is saying, Anna, what is your
Oh.
footprint square footage at the new place to store your inventory?
So I don't know exactly, but it is approximately maybe almost 500 square feet. But I found that the thing I need to care about besides square feet is cubic feet because the ceilings are low in there. So, like my storage units right now, I think I have things stacked up to about between 8 and 9 feet tall, and the ceilings there, I'm gonna have to max out at about 6 feet. So there's like a few inches probably above that, but I couldn't fit like a whole other bin or something. So
Because storage units are like taller than like even a regular house, right? Like
yeah, they're pretty tall.
the basement is smaller anyway. So
Yeah, and it's like a basement from 1870, so it's pretty short. It's not like a standard depth basement. But I'm only 5'2", so I don't mind. I'm like, whatever. The joists are like way above my head, but my
Yeah.
shelves can't be nearly as high. So yeah, I think it's around 500 square feet of like floor space that I have, but the height, I'm losing a good chunk of the height. So
Yeah. And so for those who don't know, Anna has 12,000. How
yeah,
many are you at now? Because I know you were dwindling there for a minute.
let me look. So I really don't know, but I can find out real quick. So actual listings, I have 11,190, but I still have 12,309 items.
So you're storing 12,000 items.
Yeah.
But some are like little pins too,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's
some are
not
teeny
like
tiny.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not
So it's
all like
harder to know, Tim, too, depending on what you sell. Because like for me, I sell mostly I sell all fashion, but mostly clothing, and I can fit like 15 pairs of jeans in one of those.
yeah,
So it's pretty easy for me to like calculate. I can fit 3 of those. They go 4
yeah.
deep. But I would assume some bins of yours have like 5 things and some have like
500.
right.
Yeah, I mean, actually, yes, it's true. Yeah, but the good thing is I know exactly how many bins I have in employment right now. So, and this week I've been working on consolidating and taking some bins that have only like soft things like scarves or whatever, t-shirts, and combining them with bins that have fragile stuff to like pack around it to consolidate space for the move, but also like to protect those things a little bit better. Because I don't pack things very super securely when they're just sitting in a bin on a shelf, but now they have to like rumble along in a truck for quite a distance. So
Yeah, you have a
I've been
longer way.
doing, yeah, I've been doing that, and I've eliminated about 30 bins by doing that, which
Oh,
is crazy. Most of them are the smaller sizes, like this size, are like the ones that I'm dumping into like a larger bin that has a little bit of space and fragile stuff in it. But still, that's like so much space.
and then going into your spreadsheet and updating all of
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Search and or find and replace is like my best friend. So,
yeah.
but I'm down to like about 300 bins total across 2 storage units and the stuff the littles that I have in my storage area, like that part.
How how often can you not find an item?
Almost never.
Because it's so like because you normally consolidate your items and then you have to go into the spreadsheet. And I just, for me personally, I would do it and then I would like get distracted and go back and think that, like, I'm pretty sure when eBay lost 500 of my items, probably half of those are me accidentally like selling.
Yeah.
Like
And you're
it's
like,
starting to sell similar process and then going to the bathroom and not coming back and finishing it.
yeah,
And so like the more times that you have to change it in your spreadsheet, to me, it would just
I know. And like, I mean, I guess all I can say about that is I've been doing it like way more intensively, like to prepare for moving. And normally I'm not having to change those numbers very frequently. And it will be like one here and one there. But lately it's been like a whole audit kind of. So it's like I'm like doing everything in my power to keep myself focused, and like I'm not crossing it off the list until it's like done in the spreadsheet, and I'm replacing everything at once. And my bin numbers now are like a letter and number combination. And this is like getting into the details a lot, but
yeah.
this might help somebody out. But when you have like a find and replace feature, like in Google Sheets is what I use, and so you can click a little box that says like entire cell contents. So if for some reason I'm looking at, bin B12 and one of my listings has the word B12 in it, it will not accidentally replace that and like screw with anything because it's not the entire cell contents.
Yeah.
So I always do that. I choose like entire cell contents and then just replace all. And then it's like one click and that whole bin has been changed over to the correct
Also,
bin.
you're not doing each individual and then
Right.
accidentally typing the wrong thing.
Right. I'm not having to I type it once, double check it, click that box, and then it changes all of it at once.
Yeah.
So that's like, there's just little things like that though that are like really good safeguards for the human error. The biggest risk with all of this right now is human error because
Which the more things that you do, the more risk you have of human.
right, it's like extra compounded right now because I'm doing so much stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to welcome Jay Anderson. They are a new member, gold member.
Okay.
So welcome. Oh, there's my timer, but I don't have to get the kids, so I can stop that.
Like the kids are here
They're upstairs quietly.
somewhere.
Me. Let's see. I didn't mean to cut you off. If we are,
Oh
if
no,
we're done.
I was just looking to see in my notes. I don't know if I ever fully answered the question of like how are my sales, but they are actually pretty good still. Um, Even in spite of like some messing around with my handling time and stuff this month as I'm getting ready, but it's better than last February and January and better than this past January that just happened so far. So I'm like I'm tracking to like have a better month than last month, which is awesome.
Yes, for sure. Duncan's asking again. Apparently, we didn't
Uh
cover
oh.
his answer. Sales, Sarah, your sales are good, but not on Poshmark. Let me show you. I'll show you because my eBay sales are like fire right now.
Oh yeah. I love it.
Because y'all know I like a good chart. Is this? Yes, this is what I want to show you. Can you see it?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay. This is the last 28 days, year over year. So the top is this year compared to last year, and my eBay is up.
Wow.
I know. And Poshmark actually is only down like 200. So it's not as terrible, but that eBay is like, but look, if you come and look at the fees over here, that's why.
Hello. Yeah.
I'm
That's
paying promoted listings. But we can look at, I'll probably do a video about my promoted listings and how to make sure that you're actually making money if you're promoting at high rates.
yeah.
But my average sale price is okay because I'm not running these like ginormous sales and I'm selling more volume. And so it's like, I don't know. I'll pay 17% to be up $3,000 because even if you take 17% out of that, I'm still making
Yes.
thousands of dollars,
Yes.
right? So,
Every time you talk about volume, I think about Gabe Middleton saying he's I'm a real big fan. What did he say? I'm a real big fan of oh my gosh, what's the word for like high volume sales? I can't think of it. I'm like, I always think of this and now I can't think of the right word.
I don't remember him saying anything,
It
but
was
he's
like
definitely like, I mean,
churn. I'm a real big fan of churn. I remember him saying that and being like, noted. Because he's a
yes,
genius.
yes. Although I was talking with him about his pricing strategy because his sell-through rate is like astronomical.
It's
And
bananas.
he dropped it once and then I like did the math and I was like, no. It was like 80% or something. And I'm like, so I asked him about his pricing strategy.
Yeah.
And he prices lower than the last sold comp. Which is fine because then you're the lowest one and
Right.
then you move through and he's, in the volume game. But he learned at eBay Open that he was the one, I think he's the top electronic seller on eBay or
Wow.
one of the top, um,
Casual.
as far as like volume goes. And so he was like, I think I'm just continuing to price under myself. Like the last sold was probably ours and now we're pricing it down because he has like
Wow.
employees, right? So he was like, I need to look at that because
Yes. I
if
wonder
we're
if there's a way to filter yourself out.
yeah, or just
Oh,
pay attention to who sold it last. Like
yeah.
for me, that's probably not an issue. But if you're the most volume seller
Yeah.
in
No,
this,
that's
you're
hilarious.
probably your own competition.
Right.
If
You're
you're
like,
comp
"Oh, that was us. Maybe we should keep it at the same price instead of lower at least." That's funny.
yes.
Aw.
Duncan's asking, how's the eBay fees cost now that the fees went up?
I haven't noticed.
They said at most it's 0.35%.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't look if it affected clothing because it's 0.35% at most, right?
Right. Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, I don't think I'm not sure that I've even looked at I look at that once a month, so I don't even know if I've looked at it since they changed it, really.
I mean, I know in general, year over year, my fees have gone up,
Yeah,
but I think a lot of it, like this time last year, I think I was promoting at 2%. So I think some of
right.
it is that.
Yeah, exactly. I think me too, like, that's it's not something I would notice outside of that, probably. Um, I was gonna
I'm going to say a note while you look at the notes. I did go in and update my shipping though, which honestly, because that
oh,
number I just showed and what you see on eBay is your gross number. So if you increase your shipping cost, that's going to inflate that top number. So be mindful that if you're
right.
doing that, you're not actually making more money. Well, I mean, you are, but it depends on like shipping costs and stuff. But I hadn't
Yeah,
really updated my shipping in, I don't know, a year or two. And every once in a while they do like, so there's going to be a
yeah,
video coming out, I think this week maybe, that I did an analysis and I looked at all of my shipping information and was like, okay, what's my average? What should I cost? or what should I charge? Is that on par with like my competition, right? I don't want to
Right.
increase my charges and then everyone else does. So I increased some of my shipping too, which I think has something to kind of offset some of my fees as well. And it didn't slow down sales, so.
You're like, all right then, because shipping costs money and that's what it costs.
I mean, it was like 85 cents, right? I didn't go from like $5 to $10, but
Yeah.
it was on par with the market. So
Yeah. So relative, man.
it is. It is. Were you gonna say something or should we jump to a question?
Yes. Well, I was gonna say just this is like tangentially related to just recouping some of your costs. I realized I like ran out of this this smaller size of padded envelope that I usually buy, like literally by the 500s because it's just a size I use all the time for stuff. Um and so if I'm shipping, say this like little button pin from the 70s or whatever, right? Like that's something I have to ship. And all I had left was these bigger bubble mailers that I got for free from eBay with my coupon. But I was like, oh my gosh, why don't I just cut these in half and tape up the cut half and have twice the amount of envelopes? So I started doing that. And I never would have thought of it if I hadn't run out of my smaller ones. But I was like, I mean, sometimes I still need that larger size, but it's way more common that I need like a smaller size. And so I've been doing that. And I kind of don't care if it's a little ratchet because it gives me twice the amount of envelopes.
And people don't. So when I came from Poshmark to eBay, and I don't know that most Poshmarks really do this anymore, but for a while on Poshmark, it was like you wrapped it and you gave a free gift and
Yeah,
you
like
put a
Etsy
bow
too.
on it. I mean, it was, and then I came to eBay and my brother-in-law is an eBay seller and he sells everything. And he's like, no, you just like shove it in and like, and I'm like, really, they're not going to get mad that it shows up like this? And he's like,
No.
no, like they don't want to pay. He's like, they don't want to pay $10 more for it to get in a bigger box.
Yeah.
They want you to crank it in. And
And if it's safe, yeah, whatever.
I've had one shipping complaint because the item showed up wrinkled. And I was like, okay, lady, obviously you've never bought, or sir, I don't know. I don't remember. But I was like, obviously you've
It
never
was a lady.
bought. Yeah. I'm like, how did you want me to get it to you without it being wrinkled?
It's literally clothing. Yeah, I've had that before too, though. And it's like they're outraged that it's wrinkled. And I'm just like, okay, send it back.
Yeah.
Bye. Like, send it back wrinkled, then people.
Duncan saying, Sarah, take all your listings off Poshmark and concentrate on eBay. So I did a video, I don't know, last weekend maybe. All the days kind of blend together, but
Yeah.
about looking at this because last month it was bad. I think even the first month I was on Poshmark, I did better than last month. It was
Wow.
under $1,000. And then I don't do Poshmark. I pay my virtual assistant to cross list. I pay my virtual assistant to take everything off of Poshmark when it sells. And I'm like, is it worth paying my virtual assistant to do all of this for $1,000?
Yeah.
And and then I pay for List Perfectly because they use that to cross, and so of course I looked at the numbers and did an analysis. If you guys are interested to look at the numbers, I think at the end of the day I made like $300 after you took everything out, and then it's
You,
I know. Things are looking better, but I'm like, should I spend my VA's time somewhere else?
well, yeah. And if that's like, you're basically making $10 a day selling how many items and what could you get for those items on eBay if you waited a little bit longer or whatever? Like, how do you factor that in?
Right. I mean, I don't know that there's like a calculation, but but
Yeah.
then it's like, it's also an extra $300 of not doing anything.
Yeah, but you could not do anything more streamlined on all eBay. I don't know, man. I'm kind of with Duncan on this one, but I'm also only on eBay.
So I'm gonna give it a month or two and see. Because if it does, like this month is looking a little bit better. And then
Yeah.
it's like it's all the same inventory. And if I can sell it faster and move it, because I'm out of space.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I could increase my listings and
Oh,
just
that's true. I
eBay because
forgot
I
because
don't
all those
have.
things are also listed on eBay anyway.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And so it is. So let's say it was $1,000 that I sold $3 out of it. I mean, yeah, like one sale, probably like one or two a day. So, but those are items that I got out of my inventory to put new items on eBay. Where if I stopped, I couldn't list more items because I don't have anywhere to put more items
Right.
unless I sell more items on eBay. But I don't know that's. So I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Hmm. You just promoted your listings a couple more percent. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, it's true. So here's the thing. I could promote it a couple more percent, and then I'm getting rid of 10 hours of virtual assistant. And so I'm probably still
Yeah.
making more money or have either her not working or her working on other things that are going to make me.
But there is some kind of ceiling of how high you can promote too. And I've been told it's probably around 20% for most categories. I don't know if that's true for fashion because I feel like it's pretty high in fashion. Like the average is higher, you know? So maybe it's higher, but
I might try this for a month
yeah.
and see what happens if I promote like up to 20, if I can make up eBay and then she's not having to spend 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then I'm not paying for it virtual. Yeah. Huh. Okay.
Okay. I have a question because I had a dream about speaking at eBay Open. um, it was just like random. I think I was telling the story to someone I hadn't seen in a long time recently, and that like made me dream about it. But my question is, if you were given another opportunity to speak at eBay Open and you could choose your topic, what would you want to talk about?
Oh. I was like, yes, I would do it again.
I know I would too.
I'm hunting down Georgia to be like.
But they gave us topics and they just happened to be perfect
Yeah.
topics for us, which was awesome. But
I
if you
think
could choose your topic, what would you pick?
it would probably be the same. I mean, that's what I talk about which is probably why they picked it, for
Yeah.
me, but my whole YouTube channel is showing that I mean, maybe I think what would be kinda cool, especially if it's in person, is, like, more of a breakout intimate session of looking deeper into my topic.
Yeah.
So I'm not just saying, like, look
Not
at
as much
your
the broad
analytics. Yeah,
scope. Yeah.
but, like, here, let's sit down and actually look at, like, maybe bring your own computer, and we will go
Yeah.
through what these numbers all mean. More of, like, a breakout intimate session than, like, a
Yeah.
broad. That's a
I think it'd be cool if you talked about like exactly what well the thing that was like such a light bulb moment for me when I was learning from you about promoted listings and like how it's like you're getting something for your money instead of just giving away some of your profit for kind of nothing and not more exposure. But the whole like where do you look in your numbers to see if it's like making a difference and you're making more money? Like I think that is still a huge disconnect for a lot of people.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so maybe going a little deeper into, like, here's the tool, but then how do you see if that's working? Like, how is it? So if you guys are watching eBay, I'm available to
yeah,
have a breakout session. What would you talk about?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the topic I had was so perfect for me, and I mean, I could definitely talk about that some more. It was inventory management stuff, but I really don't know. I posed the question because I have been kind of mulling it over, but I haven't come up with an answer yet.
What
So
about I don't know, like, the right topic, but you're really good at, like, maybe finding the balance or how to make it so someone spoke about, like, how to do this full time, and they spoke, like, really heavy in the numbers, which is probably where I would have taken it to, but in how like, why you do what you do and how to get to a place where you can, like, take time off and you can find the balance and, like, a little bit more of your, psychology background, like,
mhm.
bringing that in and not so much.
Yeah, maybe not so much like nuts and bolts, but kind of like the bigger picture stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, you always, like, drop information, and I'm like, "Well, that's genius," like
Whatever. That's why you pay me the big bucks.
Oh, I know. So I was thinking about this the other day. How do you decide what to buy? Because you buy like so much random stuff.
I do.
Like, how do you decide? Like, what goes through your head to decide or to tell others? Like, how do you decide?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because my strategy is miscellaneous, I do try to like really keep an open mind and look for anything and everything within reason. You know, if it's very specialized industrial equipment or something that I know nothing about, then I don't feel good about selling that in good conscience with like and being thorough enough and knowing what I need to know about it. But if it's kind of like general items that anybody might have in their house, I feel like I have enough life experience to like go like, okay, yeah, this is a worthwhile thing, either because it's really good quality, really good design, really unique, you know, something that I just like a lot. I mean, a lot of it's kind of internal, you know, impressions, I guess, but all of that is based on experience. It's not like magic sparkles, you know, it's like this is from a lot of doing this, a lot of experiments of like, well, this is an interesting thing to me. Sometimes I can't even articulate why it's interesting and I don't even know what it is. But if it's cheap enough, I'll try it out and find out and learn about it. So,
So because you do such random things too, you probably don't look up
mhm,
comps. And now that you've been doing it for a while,
yeah,
do you look up comps very often?
not very often. If it's like really mysterious or I have or something tips me off that like it could be like a very valuable thing, then I'll stop and research on my phone in the moment. But I kind of don't like doing that most of the time. I just like feel like it kind of slows me down and I'm not then as open to seeing everything that's around me because a lot of times I'm sourcing in environments where there's just like so much stuff everywhere. And so I don't want to miss anything. But sometimes I'll decide against something by the time I get to the register, or whatever. Like I'll think twice about it and be like, maybe not. But occasionally I'll go back and research something later if I didn't buy it and I'm like, what was that thing? Like I'm gonna try to find out the brand or whatever. Um, but yeah, I
So
don't
like a
know.
magic potion is what I heard.
Huh?
So like a magic potion is what I heard.
Magic potion. Well,
Experience, years of doing it.
I don't think it's magic, but yeah, I do think it's way more implicit now than it used to be but like I wouldn't necessarily just stop and research everything when I was first starting out either. I would just take a chance. And
Yeah.
a lot of times I would be right and a lot of times I'd be wrong. So it was like I made myself learn about stuff by buying it and committing to finding out.
Yeah. So yeah, you were doing your own research instead of
Yeah.
what other people are doing.
But
Which if you
sometimes
have
it's
a low
not.
cost of goods, yeah, if you have a low
Yeah.
cost of goods and then you make a dollar off of it, it's
Yeah.
whatever. Uh, Anna has a book. We didn't mention it.
Oh yeah. Sorry about here it is.
Unless they're all packed away. Are
No,
they still
I have like 4 or 5 left in here, and they're always available on Amazon too for like, they print them and send them to you.
Oh, nice. So Michelle, there was someone else saying that there is glitches. So if you guys are noticing
Oh,
glitches on eBay, hold tight. Typically they will fix them. So don't go in and like change everything. Typically it like reverts back to itself after a couple of
yeah.
days.
Just take a break.
Yeah, don't, and I don't even pay attention half the time because I'm like, it's not, if it's been like a week and something's messed up, but
Yeah.
let's see. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Like more, it's kind of a YouTube question. Do you watch a lot of social media?
No.
Yeah, see, I don't either. Obviously, whoever's joining watches social media, so I'd be interested in their point. Once I hit like 10K on social media, on YouTube, I've gotten more like opportunities, people asking, we want to like have you do a paid video. We want,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't do a lot of them. I'm definitely not doing one for like, we want you to be our ambassador for this necklace. Like that's not my
Yeah.
but there are certain things out. So I have affiliate codes because it's products that I use, and then my followers get a coupon if I become an affiliate. So it kind of works both, but then I do get paid for it.
Yeah.
So I have some of those. But as far as like paid promotion goes, I feel like in the influencer world in general, it's a fairly normal thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like people do paid promotions. You watch other YouTubers and like, oh, this was a paid promotion, whatever. I feel like, and this is maybe more for people watching in the reseller community, if you do a paid promotion, is it looked down upon? Like if I had a paid promotion video or two because there was like a company that I use and they're like, we want you to use a video,
Yeah.
is it negative for me?
I mean, I don't know what everyone's opinion about it is, but I feel like there's a parallel here with like I listen to podcasts a lot while I'm working and like, the random like ads that they have and their ad partners and stuff. But I really appreciate the ones where they're like, I do actually personally use this and I wouldn't endorse things that I don't actually think are like worthwhile. And I don't mind listening to that. I don't even fast forward that stuff. I'm just like, well, this is a way that they can continue to put out their content. And, I'm usually listening to it for free for most of the shows I listen to. And I'm just like, they're not just like selling their soul to like anybody. It's like things that they value. And that's fine. I feel like I don't care about that.
And that's kind of how I feel. Like if every single video that you watched of me or any other YouTuber was a paid promotion, then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
how much of what they're saying is true and are they getting paid for?
Yeah.
But if it's something that you're using and you truly believe in, and it's the same with all
Yeah.
my affiliates, I'm only affiliates for things that I personally use.
Yeah.
And I don't even really promote them on my videos. I'm like the worst affiliate because you have to find them in the link down below. Very rarely do I say, hey, use this. But if you wanted to know what I used, you can look in the description.
Yeah.
I don't want it to come across as like, oh, they're selling out, or we can't trust what Sarah's saying because she's getting paid to say this.
Right.
But maybe if it's just like one or two, right?
Yeah.
Like if I picked one that I already use and it's just every once in a while, and it's not like every video is like, here's this product, friends, here's this product, friend. Like then it might
Right.
be different.
I think like the totality of it. I mean, frankly, if people are listening to you and they're testing out the things that you're suggesting and the things that you're showing them, like the proof's in the pudding. Like if you have good character, then you can promote something in good character. Like
Right.
it's what it is. It's media.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking too, because they are watching and getting tips for free, which I really enjoy doing. But it does take
Yeah.
time away from other parts of my business. And so if someone's willing to pay me to promote an item that I already use,
Yeah.
like, all right, thanks. We'll see what I haven't scrolled all the way down, so we may come back to this if people have comments, but I just like to go in order.
Yeah.
Sarah, are you promoting all or most items at base charges plus 17%, or do you recomp up 10? I notice since this includes shipping, if you calculate the item cost only like Posh, it's about 29%. That is a great question.
Ooh.
I do trending, or I think they call it suggested now, or vice versa. They changed it at some point. I do that plus 10% and then capped at 17%. So not plus 17%. But
Right.
it does increase. Yeah. I think my total, I can
Up
look.
to 17. Yeah.
My total eBay fees, I'll look. And I would highly, highly recommend watching my video on how to run A/B testing and create a campaign, because this is going to differ for everyone. So my total eBay fees now are 25%. Because then again, like not everything sells promoted and not everything sells at 17% promoted.
Right.
So that kind of is a variable. So it's 5% more than Poshmark now. But y'all saw the volume. Like we're talking $1,000 on Poshmark, $7,000 on eBay.
Yeah.
I'll pay 5% for that.
Yeah. All day, every day.
Yes. All right, friends, if you do have questions, we have a few minutes left. If you have questions for me and Anna, what is it? Yes, we will be here next week. March, we're going to be kind of iffy because we have spring break. Anna's moving. So we're good there. They will be scheduled, but if we're not here on a Friday, it's either spring break or Anna's driving across.
Yeah. We'll get settled in in March after that.
I wanted to talk a little bit too, because this week I don't get a full week of work, like ever. Maybe probably in the entire year do I have 3 weeks where it's like a legit work week for me. So like this week we were sick Monday and Tuesday, so I didn't work. And then there was snow. Thankfully there was not a snow day. So I know in the springs they had a snow day, and then the kids are off today. So I had 2 days of work and staying consistent. And I know we've talked in the past about consistency, but I want to get a few tips to people, because staying consistent, you also have to know that like you're going to get sick. You're going to take vacations. You're going to want to, even if my kids weren't off, like every once in a while, I want a day off, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, banking and getting ahead, I know some people just don't list during that time, and sales are probably okay. Or like you were doing, like you didn't list for a month and just did sell similar.
Oh, for several months. Yeah. It was almost a quarter actually, which was crazy, but it worked.
Yes. So just, I don't know, maybe tips and tricks that you have in staying consistent when life is not consistent, because you can't do this long term if you are going to work 40 hours every single week, because that's not going to happen.
Right.
Or 80 or whatever your thing is. Like it's just not, you're going to either get burnt out, you're going to get sick.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've been like doing, I think 1 week recently I did like almost 60 hours, and I was just like, because I'm getting ready to move, like a lot of it was like stuff that I'm not normally doing. It's not the regular workflow stuff. But I was like, oh my gosh, one of my goals this year is to have an average of 20 hours a week or less. And so like, I like what you're saying about banking. I think that's huge. Like, just practically, that's like a huge like a tool of flexibility for anybody to have. But also I think our time perspective and our expectations are super important, because consistency, like, why do we even care about that? Because it's a sense of security for us, right? Here's the psychology corner, I guess. But
Yeah, right. See, this is why I
you're
like
welcome, Sarah. You're like, I want to hear it. But I
because
think
there's
that,
other aspects to selling and being an entrepreneur, and I think you're a good
well,
way of
yeah, and like even like we all have like our little thresholds that we may or may not be totally aware of. But even like what you said earlier of like it feels better to have at least like 10 or 12 sales a day. That's just a little benchmark that like makes you sleep well at night. You know what I mean? So I think being able to kind of see our consistency at different altitudes is really helpful. Like, okay, this week I might have made $80 one day and $600 another day. So if I'm just like being jerked around by my gross sales day to day, like it's going to be a roller coaster for me all the time. But if I'm like, okay, like Q1, like maybe I do take off a whole week or two during this quarter, when you piece all the little moments together because I'm moving and there's all this stuff going on. But maybe my Q1 this year actually looks like it's pretty much like last year and it's at least as good as last year. Well, then I can rest because I made it through last year. I was able to pay all my bills last year. So even if there's like a whole week where it's just in the toilet, like averages are our friends. And I think having that ability to go like, well, how does this month stack up to like last month or this month last year? What am I doing differently? How does this whole quarter work together? How does my goal for the year, like how does that look? Because the bigger and like kind of higher up altitude your perspective is, the more kind of time resources you have to like adjust what you're doing and affect a change. So you can like look at what you have now and you can create more consistency or not worry as much about consistency based on how high altitude your goal is, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think too, like the longer that you've done this, the more that you're like, okay, it's not like today was a bad day.
Yeah.
Today actually was a bad day.
Yeah.
What happened? Like my packages, I've been having really good weeks, and then today I was like, what is happening? But it doesn't get you down because I'm like, okay, ground is scheme, eBay's up, like things happen.
Right.
And the longer that you do that, the longer that you do this, you start to see trends in your store and you start to know that like if you
Yeah.
keep doing X, Y, and Z, you will get results. Um, so on that note, because I've been thinking about this for summer too, because we're told to list every single day. Oh, right? And I've talked in length on my channel about like, should you not, why you do, why you don't. But in the past, during the summer, because I take the summer off to be with the kids, in the past, I've banked enough listings for 2.5 months,
Yeah.
which is a lot of work ahead of time. So I'm wondering, should I just not list because you didn't do it, right? Like I would probably still sell similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just like deplete down my inventory for a couple of months
And
and
then
then
you'll have
we'll back up.
space to put more
Right.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's really true. I don't know if you would want to just go all the way, like lean all the way that direction or not. And like, because that would be a very like clear experiment. I feel like to go like, I'm not going to list anything new. I'm only going to sell similar all summer and see what happens. And, do your sales proportionately atrophy with your amount of inventory? Will there be enough of a dent by the end of the summer that you'll be able to tell that? Like, that'd be interesting. But at the same time, if that feels too risky, you could split the difference, bank half the amount, list 5 things a day and kind of hedge it a little.
Or maybe do like 1 month because I'm thinking like YouTube content. It would be really cool video to see like what happens if you don't list for a month.
Yes.
Do like maybe 1 month where I keep things steady and then 1 month or 1 month like half and then
Yeah.
1 month of like nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've talked in the past of like you haven't listed and you just unsell similar, but it was also Q4 and then you have the summer slowdown.
Right.
Right? So like you did it at a time when like sales are usually good, and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and take like the worst months
Yeah.
in reselling and just not list.
But my sales, I mean, but what you would expect if that was going to like drag down my sales is like, oh no, like this is the time with the most opportunity where people are buying the most. And shouldn't my numbers be like subpar Q4 numbers? And they weren't.
Yeah.
They were still great Q4 numbers, like on track with the other years that I've had. So
All right. So stay tuned, friends, because
yeah.
I don't know. I'm contemplating. I've gotten ahead so I can take spring break off because we're going on a road trip. And I'm in the process of starting because to get ahead for 2.5 months, like I have to start now.
Yeah.
Unless I'm taking photos every single day for like weeks. But if I just add a couple each week, then it's not as overwhelming.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll try it to see what happens. I think I'm gonna stop doing Posh and see what happens. Because
Are
it's
you
no,
will you do that all at the same time? Like take the summer off?
no. Like I'll do that now. Like
Oh, okay.
and I don't know if okay, so tell me, friends, you and then the audience, should I delete my entire, like just take everything off of Posh or just not list there anymore and see what happens? Time wise, it would be easier. Like if I had, because Poshmark, you have to delete one by one. Like, and so it would be easier to just like not cross list
Well,
anymore and put my virtual assistant on other tasks for a month and see if at the end of the day I make more money.
like none of the new stuff goes over there, basically.
Right.
I mean, I think it would be interesting to do that first, and then depending on what happens, then turn it all off and see. You know what I mean? It's kind of graduated steps.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I've deleted my whole closet before. I did it because I've done it before just because it's fun and it's fun to do a video. Fun. But also because it's such a pain to go through their inventory. So I just deleted everything and then recross listed everything. And then I was like, now I know everything's
Yeah. Well, yeah.
on the same. All right. Let's see if we have any last minute questions. Lots of interesting things may be happening. I think we're good. Not list for a month or two. Tim's saying, okay. I won't do vacation. I won't do vacation mode. And the reason being is I'm still here, like at my house, and I can still ship. I'll do vacation mode. Like we booked a trip to Mexico. We'll probably go see my sister-in-law in Texas. Like I'll do vacation mode for those times because I won't physically be here. But
Yeah.
I can ship. My kid, I mean, it takes me 2 minutes an item. If I sell 10 items, that's 20 minutes. Like I don't mind that, and it's all here.
Yeah.
And I'll let things still sell. But as far as like listing, and I can list an item, or I scheduled, right? I could schedule them all out to go live, or I could just not. I don't know.
I think
Oh,
it'd be interesting to see if you like did actually schedule them all, then that's one more little task that when you're off for the summer, you're not doing at all.
yes.
I wonder about like the personal impact for you of not having to do that, even though it's quick and easy and you do it every day. Like,
The thing with that is because my virtual assistants,
oh
so
yeah,
they still work and they are absolutely phenomenal. And their contract work, so they would understand. But I like having them have steady work,
yeah,
their lifestyle. And so if we scheduled, then they would have to work gangbusters, and then they would have to take the summer off too. And I would be a little hesitant that if they took the summer off, they may find other work and then not come back, right?
right. That makes sense.
So getting, like, I have the photos ahead, but then they're still working. They still work all summer
Yeah,
and create drafts all summer. I don't know. We have time. This is interesting.
yeah.
Diane is saying we could put Posh on vacation mode, which is smart. So instead of deleting everything, if I decide I just want to get rid of it.
Yes.
do that.
Okay, I was actually gonna ask that. Like, what's their vacation mode compared to time away on eBay? Like, I don't know because I'm not on there.
I've never actually done it because you have up to like 10 days before Poshmark gets nasty if you don't ship an item. It's not good practice.
Yeah.
But if you, like, I've gone on vacation and just not shipped an item for 7 days, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. All right, one more question and then we'll wrap up. When you promote, do you see the percent beside each listing, or do the mass promoted where you do not see how much it is for each?
So, like the standard promoted campaign versus like the individual items. Yeah.
Yeah, I do a campaign. What do
I
you do?
usually do the standard as well, just because it's too much work to do to do individual items.
Well, I take that back. I put it into account. So what I usually do is I list it not at a promoted on my phone because you can't see as much from your phone.
Right.
And then sometime in the morning or the next day or whenever I get to it, on eBay, you have like your promoted, which is like all your items. And then if you haven't promoted it, it'll
Yeah.
show those. And so then I know which new items I have. And sometimes I'll go in and like research the comp a little bit more, like things that I can't do on my phone. And it
Yeah.
lets me know which ones I've recently listed. And then I will bulk edit and promote all of those and then add them to a campaign.
Got you.
Yeah. All right. All right, friends. Thank you guys so much. We will see you here next week. Have a wonderful weekend and happy sales.
Yes, happy sales.